quarterly program. And now your host, Brock Wally.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Brock Wally program. My name is Brock Wally. I'm your fearless host. Today's topic is the open, pus-dripping, festering wound that is Race Relations 2017. Something I don't need to really spend a lot of time making you aware of. If you're sucking oxygen into your lungs in the United States of America, you are forced to think and speak and act and behave in a lifestyle which puts race uber alles 24 hours a day. And that, of course, has a lot of backstory, and there's a lot of reasons for that, most of which, sadly, are power, in my opinion. But nonetheless, that's the reality we all face. And the point of this podcast is to put my finger on something that I think you've probably felt, but maybe haven't heard articulated. And it's a paradigm that you're thrown into. It's a non-verbal sometimes, but sometimes verbal sort of pressure or parameter around you at all times that you don't fully understand, that frustrates you, I imagine, but that you're just aware of, like, you know, the presence of gravity or something like that. And that's how a lot of these things are done in society now. It's part political correct, it's part culture bullying. This type of thing has just become in our lives all the time. It's not all bad, because I think culture bullying, or at least cultural pressure, maybe not cultural bullying, can refine a society in good ways. But the way it's been used, particularly by social engineers and secularists, I think it's thuggish, actually, is what I think. Mob-like, thuggish. And that is this. So the starting point, the default point, the point that you're being told is normal by way of race relations, particularly if you have lily white, pasty white skin, is that you have to be self-loathing, self-hating. You have to have that sort of smug, condescending sort of liberal racism when you speak of blacks. They don't hear it on themselves, but it's just evident to anybody else with a healthy mind. You got to be always just, there's so much I can learn. I don't know anything. It's this white guilt. It's this white, black. All they see is race 24 hours a day. They're the most racist people on the planet. But anyway, you know what I mean? So this sort of NPR-ish, MSNBC-ish sort of view of race relations, they're trying to sell you, or they're trying to get your head to think that that's the default point. That's normal, right? That's where you're supposed to sit. Let me assure you, my fellow Americans, that's not normal, right? That's fringe. That's freakish. That's unhealthy. That's not even productive, even if your goal is to bridge communication barriers among the races. That's nothing. That's just a way of prodding people to behave in a certain way for other people's power. To get people to not to talk about things openly, so on and so forth. And my guess is you know that as you interact with it, don't you? You get some college professor 8 times divorced that goes home to cats, and she's out there talking about how if you're not 24 hours a day, just crocodile tears in your coffee about your whiteness, that somehow you're the KKK, right? That's essentially the level of dialogue that we have politically in regards to race. And that's holistically because the Democrat Party has seen that as an extremely effective tool politically to stop open dialogue, to stifle open and candid conversation, because with both of those things come clarity, and with clarity the left goes down like a cheap yard chair or lawn chair. That's just true. That's why they do it. That's why that racial pressure is always in the air. That's why you're not allowed to say things that are real or discuss things that are real, because that's your privilege, or that's your whiteness, or that's your... No, it's none of those things. It's just what a normal, healthy mind thinks. We all carry bigoted tendencies. We all carry prejudice. We're walking down the street and we see something that's not normal, or we're not used to it, or makes us feel uncomfortable. All those things befall all people of all color, of all races. Everybody knows it. And the fact that we're not allowed to discuss this openly, and particularly you're not allowed to discuss it if you don't have enough pigment in your skin, does nothing productive. But see, this is the point of the podcast. They try to make it so that if you do that, if you feel comfortable enough in your own skin to ask candid questions or to bring up candid conversations or to talk about socioeconomic and cultural differences, you might as well have skinhead tattoos on your neck. Nonsense. Total nonsense. And ladies and gentlemen, the dam's about to break. So the reason I'm getting out in front of this is because the American people have had it up to their neck with political correct tyranny of the mind, of speech, the policing of all that. But it hasn't fully broken yet. The left is clinging. I mean, they have duct tape wrapped around this bad boy every which way to Sunday because they realize this is one of the last bastions of power that they possess in our society, is keeping people afraid of race, keeping people divided by way of race. Race, class, gender, that is all they do. That is the leftist trinity. Race, class, gender, it's all they see. They walk into a room, they don't see human beings, they see color, they see class, they see gender, they see genitalia, they see money. That's all they see. They don't see human beings. I'm telling you the truth. I've been around these people my whole life. Ladies and gentlemen, my point here is that you're not beating yourself up, that you don't think the problem is condescending to some black man who's raising his family in the inner city. You have to talk to him like he's some sort of 5-year-old child, and you gotta make sure you parse all your words and apologize every 5 seconds. You know that issue where sorry, you open a door, oh sorry, you close the door, oh sorry, open a window, oh sorry, are you chilly? Oh, sorry. You know that person that does that all the time? That's what the left wants you to do by way of race relations. But nothing productive happens. Look, with open, frank, full-throated conversation of race, are people going to step in it? Yes. Are people going to get offended? Yes. Are people's feelings going to get hurt? Yes. Is there going to be misunderstanding? Yes. Might there even be arguing and disagreement? Yes. But from those things come good seeds, good soil, good growth, good understanding. And the left, I'm telling you the truth when I say this, the left does not want that to happen. They do not want that to happen. Where the fresh, honest, pure photosynthesis of sunlight hitting that and creating something natural that happens. They don't want to do that. They want to put a biosphere in there so they can control the temperature, so they can control the conversation, so they control the rate of growth and whether it fits or it meets their needs politically. That is the problem with race relations right now. There are huge gaping cultural conversations that we're not having. Huge pockmarks and things that are happening in family and socioeconomic problems and the real candid reasons for those problems and on and on and on. And we're not having those conversations because they try to make the default line or the new normal some kind of white guilt nonsense. And if you don't believe me, just turn on NPR at this moment. Turn this off, turn on NPR. If they're not talking about some race claptrap, I'll give you $10 of cash. And they're doing that. So this is constantly, it's a barrage, constantly in your mind. They want their way of thinking about this, their rules, their limitations. Reject them. It's going to take courage, trust me, because when you go, listen, between the media, between college professors, between just the general sort of vibe that we got now, you're going to be bucking the system. But for a lot of people, it would be refreshing. And afterwards, they'll say, I'm so glad you did this. I'm so glad you did this. Basically, what they're saying is, I'm glad you jumped on the grenade. I always wanted to do that. It's what I think we should be doing, but the price is too high. Now, you got to be careful. Look, the left, they're tyrannical. They're ridiculous. They'll take your job from you. They'll take your livelihood from you. But as a nation, if we care about people of all races, all classes, all gender, we need to start talking, and we need to have these conversations candidly, not vetted through the system of leftist approval, but candid, real conversations, which means thoroughly and 100% throwing out the leftist rule book and just approaching it like normal human beings. Thank you for listening to the Brock Lawley program. Be a people of fortitude, character, and always courage.
We believe.
Visit BrockLawleyMusic.com.